sure. It almost sounds like one. If he could get Eminem in the house, I'm sure he could bust some stuff. All right, we got Bitcoin absolutely blasting through the gap. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. It is 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time where I'm at right now. I was watching a football game, and then obviously I got my laptop always pulled up, and I see Bitcoin just absolutely blasting off. We are filling a gap that has not been filled since it was put in back here in May of 2022. Now, this was an essential gap because at the time it was the only gap until we made this gap. So the whole time that we've been trading inside of this range, the whole question around it was, do we fill the bottom gap or do we fill the top gap? Let me be clear. These are the two only gaps right now on the CME futures. So they have been being watched very tremendously around the world. Now, I don't know what kind of good news that has came out in order to make this thing just blast off to the moon. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the BlackRock ETF. I understand that. There's a lot of this and that being said. But this is what I want you to understand real quick. Since the very beginning of the year, I told you guys to be a buyer of Bitcoin. Okay, that was very important because it was a new year, new trend. That's typically the way these things work. So if you would have done that, you'd be up severely nicely, right? Like severely nicely. So for you people out there, I want to say one thing. Take profits. Do you sell all of your Bitcoin? No. But should you take some profits? Yes. I have done that. And I told you guys from the very beginning, since this year began, since I've been doing live streams, that if we approach this gap, I would absolutely take off some of my Bitcoin hodl bags simply because I hold too much risk. It's literally too much risk that I can't control it in overnight gap downs and overnight gap ups, and it keeps me up at night. So what I have done is I have automatically sent a portion of that, 1/3 of my total hodl bags, to Coinbase, and I have sold them. Other people are going to do the same thing. Now, with that being said, do you need to take profits? Well, that would depend. Where are you? Where did you enter? How much Bitcoin do you own? Is it your life savings or is it a small portion of your portfolio? Like, there is literally 1,000 questions that I could ask you right now, and I don't have the time to do that, seeing how I got to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 hours from now, to do a live stream about the markets. So this is what I've done. I have literally took 1/3 of my position off on the Bitcoin because I sold Bitcoin when I knew the FOMC was going to change their position and do a 180-degree turn. So basically that was a good short, and then we shorted it again right there. And then as that position size grew so big when I took this long right here, that just literally capitalized it to a big amount, like more than I've ever been able to buy, like, or more than I ever wanted to buy. It became a big position, too big of a position, in fact, that I don't have any other position in any other asset that large because I'm a day trader, right? I really don't believe in holding big positions on any asset. Now, it's true, we have just basically jumped above everything, and you could see a short squeeze that could last for many days. But my question to you is this: what is it worth to you to think, hey, should I see if we get that short squeeze, or should I potentially take profits on some news that just came out or some fake news? Like, we don't really have anything, do we? Chat, do we have anything? Few ledges? Is there anything out there that suggests that this move is happening for a specific reason? BlackRock buying themselves? Yeah, well, we always assume that would happen, right? Obviously, BlackRock, if they're going to do an ETF, then they have to come in and they have to provide enough liquidity for that ETF. So they would have to go through Coinbase themselves and start buying up Bitcoin. But what makes you think they haven't been doing that for the last 4 years, right? I mean, seriously, what makes you think that BlackRock isn't smart enough to accumulate Bitcoin on lows? Like, why would BlackRock wait until they get a maybe approval on an ETF to go ahead and start buying? Like, think like the big guns here. If I was BlackRock and I was about to put out an ETF, there's no way in hell I wouldn't have already owned a large portion of Bitcoin in order to set the ETF or set the ETF off, like literally. So just be very, very careful. I know a lot of people is going to be like buying this right now because you have blasted across, you've made fresh yearly highs. You've gotten beyond a massive trend line. You've filled the gap. You've done a lot of things in the last couple of days on Bitcoin. And to be honest with you, I did not see it coming. I had a short on last week from this wick. Obviously, that short got stopped out, but it was just a hedge. Like I wasn't trying to make money on the position. I was just trying to control if Bitcoin was to roll over because risk has rolled over. I mean, risk has rolled over in the last few days if you haven't been paying attention. So rate hikes are about to happen, or not rate hikes, but rate cuts are about to happen according to the bonds. We got the 30-year that hit a 5% level, which hasn't done that in a very long time. Typically what happens is firms will lock in those higher rates. When firms lock in those higher rates, they have to sell off riskier assets in order to lock in these higher rates. And in the past, I've said this many times on many of my live streams, in the past, rate cuts typically come before a bad thing happens. Rate cuts don't just, oh, I don't know, let's just help out the investment community and cut some rates. Let's make them rich. No, that's typically not how it happens. Typically, the Fed has to come in and cut rates and then do TARP or QE when something bad is about to happen. We already know that they have broke the 20-year or the TLT. It is broken. You've never seen a move on that asset like we have seen in the last 3 years. Let me pull it up here. There you go. Let's pull it up on a yearly basis so that way you can literally see the damage that has been done to this iShares 20-year Treasury bond ETF. You know how many people are long bonds? Well, if you own a 401k, I'm sure you are long bonds. Basically, every teacher's, every fireman's, every policeman, every fund that holds community service people that have 401ks, they're in bonds. Bonds are a safe investment, right? Well, not this year. Not this year. Not last year. They're getting wrecked. So if the Fed is going to cut, which they probably are, that is what the rate or what the market is pricing in. We'll go over here and pull it up for you so you can see it for yourself. You don't have to believe me. Ooh, there is a 98% chance as of right now that we ain't moving not 1 inch in November. Let's go see where we are in December. Ooh, yeah, there's a 74% chance we're not moving higher. And you can go on and on and on. Right there, you still are in that 525 to 550 area. In fact, right here is when you first get your rate cut in June. So the market is literally pricing that in June you're going to get rate cuts. Rate cuts, like I said, usually come when something bad is about to happen. The Fed isn't going to cut rates because we have this nice, soft landing on a pillow like a feather. And then we just go to the deep and beyond, right? No. Typically they cut rates because stuff is not working and they see a lot of things happening and they need to cut. So that's what the market's pricing in. That's why you see the bond market taking a massive dump for the last 2 years. This is 2022. This is 2023. All right. This is '08. This is the market crash in '08. Remember that, please. Right. your market crash, '08. Here is your recovery in '09. Your recovery in '09 doesn't look anything like this, does it? No, it doesn't. This is what they have broken. All right, moving on. Basically, what I want you to just do is protect your downside risk, please. This big move up could continue to move up. In fact, we're going to pull up Weeks right here. Weeks is an exchange that you can trade on the US, in the US. If you are in the US, you can trade. You can see that I do have a substantial amount of money in there right now because I am trading on the platform. I don't have any open trades right now on this platform because 90% of the money that I did have was in cold storage, and I have about 3% of the total Bitcoin that I own on Bitget. But I did just go ahead and throw a couple $1,000 in USDT so I could continue to scalp the markets. Because if Bitcoin is going to roll over or continue to move up, we are going to make a shitload of money. Why not? It's going to be fun, right? Because that's when we do good, when Bitcoin is very, very volatile like this. So we are currently watching hourly resistance. It is 1220. You guys in the London session, I believe, will have the best chances of watching this move and seeing if you do break out of this ascending or descending wedge. If I go over here to the Coinbase, let me go over here to Coinbase and pull it up. You can see that this wick right here already liquidated that high. This high hit $35,000. All right, let's pull up this candle real quick. Now I want you to watch. Hang on, I just fired this PC up. I've had PC issues for the last few days, which is why there hasn't been any live streams or anything. But this is just important. It's important. When shit gets important, it's time to go to work, right? So that's what I did. I'm going to work. As you can see right here, I want you to look at this number right there. All right, look at that number when I hover over this candle. Boom. $35,000 exactly. Not one penny over. 35K exactly. Exactly. All right, so be very, very careful. Other people are going to do what I have done tonight. I have taken a majority, not a huge majority, but a majority of my Bitcoin off, and I have taken profits because, listen, I need to pay the bills for next year, right? I'm a trader. I live year by year on trading accounts. So, yeah, I love this pop. I'm glad it happened, but I'm also a little bit curious as to why it happened when the risk markets are rolling over. Let me go ahead and pull up the Tastyworks account for anybody that is following me based on the options trades. I'm going to show you a couple trades that I have on real quick, and then we'll end this stream because I got to get some sleep. I got to get some sleep. It looks like my cat locks are on. I had to buy a new keyboard. I had to do all kinds of crazy crap. All right, there we go. All right, so this account is with real money, so that way people that are new to the channel understand that I do real money account, real money trading, real money everything. So that way you can ever ask me, hey, I want to see your trade logs. All right, so what I currently have done is I sold a call in the MES once again. Hang on, let me pull this up over here so I can see your question. I did sell a put, sorry, not a call, a put. Because as you can see, I took a trade in Netflix and I took a trade in Nvidia. Now all of this down here, this is just a bracket order. It's to stop me out if the price gets above my liquidating value, which is 1% of the total account's equity. When I opened the account, I had $5,000. As of right now, I have $1,285 year to date. That is, what is it? A 24% return on the year, pretty close to a 24% return on the year. If I was a losing trader, this would be in the red, just like the P&L on the day was. Right? So anyways, we're making money. We're beating the S&P 500 this year, and we got started a little bit late. If we would have got started early on in the year, this would be much better. We'd be killing the S&P 500 right now. But this was just a hedge. And then I went ahead and took the NVIDIA trade just in case, because for the Netflix trade, I'm looking at it to fill the gap, at least to the downside. So we'll go over and look at it real quick. This is Netflix, but it did have a phenomenal day today. So I'm figuring we're probably going to run up above those highs, maybe get a little bit higher and then roll over. But if it exceeds my risk, which is $60, my account had $5,000 in it. I got $1,200 in profit in it. So now if it gets to $62, that trade will get stopped out. And then the same goes for the NVIDIA trade. The NVIDIA trade I was watching right here, the 50% retracement of the literal head and shoulders. I mean, like, I'm not a pattern trader, but if I was, they don't get any better than this. I mean, head, shoulder, shoulder, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much a head and shoulders. I got your neckline right down here. And then this 50% retracement is on last week's range. So you can see last week had a pretty devastating down week, taking out weekly support there. Not here though. So we have not really breached any significant support yet, but this was a nice response we got from NVIDIA today. Now, as far as event risk in the news, there's not a whole lot coming up this week. But you know, you never can tell, right? I mean, the market's literally just trading with the news. Apple had a nice move up today. Amazon had a nice move up today. Google had a nice recovery today. All of these markets had good responses today based on the fact that, you know, everything basically sold off last week. If we go look at the US 100, this is your NASDAQ. That's a clear breakdown. This is a weekly time frame. There is your weekly support. Last week you broke down. You are rechecking resistance here, which is just old support, and you're backing off. But today's only Monday. So a lot of things look like, yeah, the risk markets may be getting bullish again. Why? Well, the dollar had a magnificent decline today. So that magnificent decline could be the reason why we're seeing Bitcoin finally get a break. So, I mean, it's up to you. It's your money. I really don't care what you guys do with it. I'm just trying to help you do what you can to make the most of your buck. I understand that a lot of people love Bitcoin, right? They love it. It's their favorite asset, and they think it's going to go to $1 trillion thanks to people like Cathie Woods and other investors of her sort. But I just shared an article today that literally told you that Cathie Woods is a losing trader. Cathie Woods is a losing trader. Her fund is down. And then if you take into account inflation, if you would have invested in 2020 and during the pandemic in her ARK-K portfolio, adjusted for inflation, if you rode the whole thing from then until now, you were down. Her fund started with $40 billion, or at least that's what she advertises on her website, that she's an operating fund with $40 billion, when in reality, most of that money evaporated in the bear market, and now she is operating a fund with less than $7 billion. So she went from operating $40 billion to $7 billion. So as you can see, about $33 billion went poof into the air. Yes, she is a very risky investor. Her own boss, the dude she used to work for before she started her fund, literally said in that article that we had to get rid of her because she could not manage risk and volatility. So what does she go do? She goes and starts a fund, and she puts literally the most riskiest assets in the world in that fund. And sure, it performed magically, magically, while there was so much stimulus in the air. Stimulus being, the Fed literally going out there and buying treasuries and everything else. So yeah, obviously her fund done really good here. But if her fund is basically growth, like she explains it all the time, we focus on growth, 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 growth. Well, here is where she is year to date on her fund. She's up 12%. And if we just simply pull up the freaking NASDAQ, which is also mainly growth, you'll see the NASDAQ is up some 32% on the year still. So obviously her fund is not performing well, and there probably will be some investigations done. We also know, according to that article, that she did not even have a risk manager working for her. So be careful the people you follow out there. I've been saying it from day one. You can follow people. Listen, in a bull market, anybody looks like a genius, right? It's during all of this turbulent times right in through here. That's what makes a trader. That's what makes a real investor. Someone who is able to get returns when you've lost most of the returns on the year, and then get returns when a new year starts, right? So like I said before, here is a real money account. Those are the year-to-date returns. I am beating the S&P 500 tremendously. And if these two assets right here, cooperate, which, it's not really cooperating as the close happened right there on Netflix, I expect Netflix is probably going to run those highs. And if it continues to run the highs, then I will close the position for a small loss. It's not a big deal, right? It's about opening and closing positions, managing risk, making sure that your expectations are not like Kathy Wood's expectations. She expected Bitcoin to be at $1 million by now. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Bitcoin at $1 million tonight, right? It's highly unlikely. Just please be careful. Please, all you guys that's been following me since I told you guys to be careful up here, because the Fed was about to do a 180-degree turn on Bitcoin and on the risk assets all in itself, started the bear market, right? We were right on that. We were right on this turn at the yearly open here. I mean, just beautiful short positions. And then we were right on our longs down here, January the 1st. Boom, boom, boom. 3 massive turns that we've called correctly in the market. Moving on, we are looking for risk to happen because a lot of people are going to lock in those higher yields. And when they do that, they're going to have to sell out of their risk portfolios. They're going to have to sell some Apple, sell some Nvidia, sell some Tesla, sell some of this, sell some of that, so they can lock into a high yield, since the yields are so high before the cuts start happening. Once the cuts start happening, then the markets really see a downturn. And since Bitcoin has been traded as a risk asset from this point, I would assume that the same thing is about to happen. BlackRock ETF or not. All right. So how do you hedge against this? If you want to protect your gains, say you did buy on January the 1st, like I did, and you want to protect these gains. Well, what I suggest you do is open up an account on an exchange that you can trade on. If you're in the US, use the link in the description for weeks. As a matter of fact, if you do, they will match you up to $5,000. If you deposit $5,000 into your account, they will match you. Also, you will get 20% off any trading fees. All right. That's the best I can do for you guys in the US. But I will say this the same. Make sure that you only put the amount of money on exchange that you are willing to lose. Okay? It's a new exchange. Don't go out there and put $500,000 on exchange, and then if the exchange shuts down tomorrow, come and try to sue me, because I got lawyers. It won't work. You know what I mean? It's your money. Do what you want with it. But I'm just trying to help, right? Like I said, I still trade on Bitget. I trade on weeks. I'm trading everywhere, anywhere and everywhere I can get an edge. And that's what we're looking for. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? I know it is freaking late. BlackRock buying themselves. They have already their bags, but they're creating the FOMO to sell. I'm not saying that, but I'm kind of hinting at that, right? Like, there's literally no fundamental reason why Bitcoin should be going up right now. I know a lot of people are going to tell you things like, well, the reason Bitcoin is going up is because there's so much insecurity in the world right now that everybody's fleeing to Bitcoin. That's not true. That is not true. You can pull up Glassnode or whatever you want to pull up. You will see that exchange volumes are still at a 5-year low, which means there is nowhere near the volume being traded on exchanges as was back here. All right. So when back in this days, when Bitcoin was fluctuating between 6,000 to 3,000 up to 13,000, back down to 4,000, there was more volume on exchange across the board trading back then than there are now. All right. That's not inflows. But with that being said, this could be one hell of a short squeeze, and a lot of big shorts could be getting stopped out, because this is one thing that I've always taught you, and I still will. Like, typically when you take out a massive swing high and the midpoint of that candle is roughly in the middle, that's a pretty damn good chance that you got an actual breakout occurring. But there's nothing that means that that breakout will not be a trap. All right? Will not be a trap. But at the same side, I did not sell all of my Bitcoin on this move up. I just sold enough to take some profits. I've been sitting in the position for far too long, since November of 2022. I wanted to downsize that position. I didn't want to wake up one day and see Bitcoin trading back down to 18 grand, knowing that the majority of the money that was made was on that move up. You can only make 100% on the way down, and that's only if the asset goes down. But on the way up, you can make much more. So what I'm trying to say is, yeah, even though I caught nice shorts in here and nice shorts in here, this paid me more because it moved up much more than this moved down. All right? All right, good. I'm glad you understand how math works. All right, anybody got any questions? Because I am drunk and it is late. But I did want you guys to understand that be very, very careful. All right, so we'll go look at some monthly, yearly, and stuff levels. We got an old monthly level right here that has never been retested before. Remember me telling you guys that back in the day when that gap was formed? I was like, I'm not even really giving two shits about the gap. What I'm concerned about is we have a monthly support level right here that was made, that when we broke down through right here, we never retested it. Well, guess what? We just did. All right. So literally, for any of you guys out there who are looking for inefficiencies and whatnot in all these big candles, trust me, they're not there. This was the most inefficient level, and that level has just been tagged. That is one hell of a good looking monthly candle, though. I will give you that. And if you look at the quarterly candle, it's phenomenal. But same thing, quarterly support right there. Boom. So you tested quarterly support here, you bounced. This was when the real breakdown happened. All right. Please understand what I'm telling you. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to stop here. I don't know what price is going to do. Let me show you something real quick. I think it's funny. All right. I think it's funny, and that's the kind of guy I am. That's how I roll. Let me just pull it up. All right, right here it is. Which way now? Bro, if I knew that, I would sell all my houses, my boat, my truck, my girl's Jeep, and liquidate all of my trading accounts and do a 200x in that direction. That's the truth about trading. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow, this thing will be trading at $44,000. And the only thing I would be able to say is, well, I'm glad I only sold a third. And then again, we could wake up tomorrow and it could be trading at 28 grand. And I'd be like, damn, I wish I would have sold half. If you feel me, you know what I'm saying? Trading is about risk management. And this is a perfect opportunistic time for you to manage that risk. Now, if you got in at like 63 or 68 or 59 or 50K even, because I do remember a couple big YouTubers saying $50,000 Bitcoin is cheap Bitcoin. Yeah, it is. It was back then. Today, not so much. It seems very expensive. I'm not putting you on blast. I was not putting you on blast. I love you, bro. I love you. I wish I could tell all of you. I do. I wish I could be like, oh, it's going down for sure. Yep. Bet it all on black. Bet it all on yellow. I wish I could. I wish. It's just not the way trading works. Trading is about risk management. People that have been following the small account, they know this account has fluctuated so many times. Like literally, today was the first time it got over $1,300 and it's back under 12 again. Like this account fluctuates back and forth. It's at $1,100 one day, then it's at $855 the next day, and then it's at, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. The market's been difficult lately. All right, it's been difficult. All those short positions I had on, I closed a little bit too soon because just as soon as I closed them, the freaking market rolled over. I think I closed those short positions on this day right here. And then look, boom, boom, boom. 2 more days of nice moves lower. If I'd have left all those short positions open, that account would be up to $1,500-$1,600 right now. But it's just a small account. It's not my main account, obviously. I focus more on my main accounts. But my main accounts are situated good. They're all in positions that are good. Unless the dollar continues to climb higher. Or continue to go lower. Sorry, I'm short pound dollar. I am short Aussie dollar. I am long USD Swiss franc. Like, yeah, all these positions right here are in trouble of literally, or at least this position's in trouble of being shut down. Simply because, yeah, it hit the yearly opening range and it's backing off. And the dollar's backing off. But this is the question. Is it just a pullback? Or is this something more sinister? Is the dollar going to roll over? Bonds going to catch a bid back up? And we are going to have that pillow soft landing? That's a good question. But right now we know that the bond market is broken. And if people don't start fixing that, that could turn into something really, really nasty. So yeah, be careful out there. Trading is not easy. It is not easy, my friend. Or my friends. Thank you so much, Robert Hua, for showing up to retail level 1. Spot ETF BlackRock is listed ticker IBTC 464338F101 iShares. What? Good morning, Heath. Oh, Michelle. If Michelle is saying good morning, I have really screwed up. Well, frig it. The European Open's about to happen in a couple hours. Why don't we just go ahead and stay live? Catch some London Open trades. No, but as long as the DXY is pulling back, obviously Bitcoin can continue to rise higher. You got a little bit of a breakdown happening as of the open tonight. So what I would probably watch if I were you guys during the London session is the dollar putting in fresh daily lows. All right, so fresh daily lows. Let's go ahead and plop this indicator on real quick just to go ahead and show you where that open is. That way you are not, oh, it didn't work. All right, you don't want to play with me? Fine, I'll just go somewhere else and play in the sandbox. Here we go. There's your daily open. There we go. We're getting stuff done. We're getting stuff done. All right, so you can't see your open here because of all these numbers and whatnot. But if you're trading down around the low of day come the London session on the dollar, be careful on pound longs and euro longs and Aussie longs, because we do know that the European session, or the 3 a.m. London session, likes to put in lows or highs of day. So if it's trading at the high of day around 3 o'clock in the morning, which is literally 1, 2 o'clock's a good candle to watch, 3 o'clock is the best candle to watch. Trading at the high of day, look for shorts. You were trading at the low of day, look for longs. Typically, that's how that works. So if it's making fresh lows a day around 3 o'clock, be careful, because it can literally reverse in your face. In your face. All right, anything else important that I need to talk about before I go to bed and try to get 4 hours of sleep before I have to get back up and do this all over again? It's exciting. I love it. I love it. I really do. I can't believe it. Like, Bitcoin is blasting off. That would have been a phenomenal trade to take right there off the heat level or the hourly resistance. Oh, man, with a full-size position, even could have banked some dollars right there, but I was too busy running my mouth. Obviously, I've had a few drinks. Be the critical trader. Well, I can't do that. But we'll see what happens. Look at that beautiful test of hourly res right there, baby. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I don't have one of those boxes that'll make the crowd cheers and whistles and claps and stuff. Maybe one of these days. But yeah, that would have been a fantastic place to look for a short entry. Just for a hedge, though. And remember, when you do a hedge, you're not trying to get rich. Don't go 100x short on these levels, please. You will get wrecked. A wick will come up, stop you out, and then roll over. All you're doing is you're putting on a small position of Bitcoin. However much Bitcoin you own, do, like, if you own, say, 1 Bitcoin, do 2% of that in a hedging account, and then lever it up to 25x or even 50x. But just make sure once position moves with you, you move your stop down, so that way you're not taking any losses on the trade. And then eventually that trade, depending on if Bitcoin continues to roll over, will come within parity of the bags that you hold. And that in itself will save you a lot of those losses that you might incur if you do not have a hedge in place. That is how I was able to accumulate so much Bitcoin in the bear market, was because I was hedging my position, not so much looking for fresh shorts, because I was a big Bitcoin bear. It has nothing about being a bull or a bear. It's about reading the market, understanding what's happening in the world, geopolitical and whatever else. Like, there's a lot of bad things happening right now. Bitcoin blowing up to the moon should not be happening, but it is. We don't have the halving until next year. That's the main event, right? That's the heavyweight boxing match of the world. Everybody's going to be tuned into that. That doesn't happen until May of next year, maybe March, or who knows, April, somewhere in that area. That's when Bitcoin usually gets going. Not now, not right now, right? Not while risk is rolling over. Not when you got a VIX. Here, screw the VIX. Let's go look at the VVIX, which is the volatility of the VIX. It's up. It's up pretty nicely. Look, this was the banking crisis over here. Look where we are. Look at the highs we reached today. We got all the way up to 118. This was your banking crisis. And then if we just pull up the regular standard VIX, You can see we hit $23. The risk is out there, ladies and gentlemen. Risk has found a low and is moving higher. All right. VIX up, SPX down. That's typically how it works. 5:43 a.m. here. Yeah, I'm jealous that you have enough gall and gusto to be able to get out of the bed at 5:43 a.m. Thanks for jumping on tonight. It's my pleasure. Thank you guys for showing up. As always, I'm having computer issues, which is why videos haven't been coming out every day like I said I was going to, and this and that, but we're going to get those issues fixed. It's not a big deal. It's just a matter of when they actually contact me. And I think I know what the main problem is, so I'm going to go fix that tomorrow. I got a J5 that I used to run other monitors, so I'm gonna go get a new one and upgrade the drivers for the new one, and hopefully that's the problem. Hopefully that's what's causing the issues. But all my main drivers have been uploaded, monitors, everything like that's all been updated. So I don't know why I keep getting the BOSDs, the blue screens of death. Are not really fun, especially when they happen when you're doing a live stream, because then all of a sudden it's just like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? All right. Saw the notification, had to get on. Thanks, Ray. Of course you were watching Bitcoin too. Don't lie. Don't blame it on me. You're acting like you was in the bed all nice and cozy, and then you seen the notification on your phone and just had to get up, Ray. Come on, that's not fair to me, is it? I love you all so much. Yeah, Bitcoin doing great things tonight. But we'll see what happens, right? There's a lot of stuff taking place right there, a lot of volume. Let's get it over here. It's mostly buyers, which is very dangerous. You got 7.5K on the bid, 4.15K on the ask. That's never really a good thing. So this is where the majority of people are buying Bitcoin tonight. Right at the gap fill. Like right there at the gap fill. And I'm just trying to teach you guys not to be those people. All right, sometimes it works, right? Down here, yeah, it worked. But this was all day in the making. Here, all this volume accumulation happening. But up here, now it's happening. And that's never really a great sign. So just watch your hourly resistances through the night. Watch your London session. You might get a spike up. You might take out that swing high right there. That swing high is not on Bitget. And let me go to the hourly on weeks. Nope. See, on weeks, you didn't liquidate. On weeks, you got a higher wick right there. Boom. So this wick did not liquidate that wick on weeks. It did on Coinbase. And then let me see on Bitget real quick. Bitget's main high was 35,275. And then the second highest high was 35,270. So even on Bitget, you didn't liquidate that high. So there could be another liquidation coming. There could be more upside coming. You know what I mean? There's no way for me to tell you what's going to happen. I wish I could. I wish I could tell you to do whatever. That would be the golden thing right there. That'd be the golden goose. A man on YouTube that actually always gets it right, right? That's not the way this works. So just keep your eyes open. If that resistance continues to hold, then I've already taken a position for a hedge. And like I said, as soon as the gap was filled, I was busy routing funds from cold storage over to Coinbase so I could sell. And I sold quite a bit. I still have 2/3 remaining, but that's all I was looking for all year long, was for that gap to get filled. And it just got filled. So we'll see what happens moving forward. If I can get up in the morning, because like I said, I have a buzz. We'll see if I can get up early enough, then I'll go live again and we'll see where Bitcoin is and we'll start all over. All right. What was I looking for? I was looking for that right there. Gap is filled. It is filled, and I will show you. Let's go back to the daily, and we'll squeak it out real quick. So basically, the gap was from this candle's low, well, to that candle's high, which I didn't even get it on. There you go. So that low to this open, that was the gap. And then if we scroll over and look, you did take it out. You have filled that gap. Next gap on Bitcoin, 21,125. And you can see it perfectly right here. We had a big move down, down, down. That's where we filled this gap and then gapped up right there. And we have not filled that gap. These are the only two gaps on the CME right now. So, yeah, we just filled one. That's pretty massive. Pretty massive. You guys have a fantastic rest of your night. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do this stuff all the time whenever my computer ain't a piece of shit and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the morning, maybe. If I'm hungover, which I will be, probably not. So don't hold it against me. Guys, have a fantastic rest of your night. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.